Hello everyone, I'm Jessica Blackbird. Welcome to my channel. Please like, share, and subscribe. Those are 3 easy free ways to help my little channel grow. So we're talking about Jen Shah today. I had never seen their show, Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. I had to go and look at a little bit of it so that I could get a feel of who she was. So she is a horrible person who is so materialistic. She scammed the elderly just to have money and things. What a dummy. Stick around for the story. Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, Jen Shah pleads guilty to federal charges of running $5 million telemarketing scam and preying on hundreds of elderly Americans. Faces 14 years in jail. Wow, Jen Shah. Real Housewives of Salt Lake City's Jen Shah has today pled guilty to federal charges of organizing a $5 million telemarketing scam, which she preyed on hundreds of elderly people. The star, 48, pled guilty to conspiracy to commit wire fraud, with the U.S. attorney dropping her second count of conspiracy to commit money laundering. Shah's assistant, Stuart Smith, previously admitted his part in the same scam and had been due to testify against his former employer until Monday's guilty plea. The U.S. Attorney's Office says Shah faces the maximum sentence of 30 years in prison, but NBC Connecticut reports that a plea deal will actually see her serve a maximum of 14 years. As part of her guilty plea, the reality star also agreed to forfeit $6.5 million and to pay restitution up to $9.5 million. Addressing the court, the reality star said she knew it was wrong and that she was so sorry for the many people who were harmed. Shah admitted that she agreed with others to commit wire fraud and knew it misled victims, over 10 of whom were over the age of 55. Shah added there was a misrepresentation of the product regarding value of the service, noting it had little to no value. When asked by U.S. District Judge Stein if she knew what she was doing was wrong and illegal, Shah replied, "Yes, Your Honor." Priya Chaudhry, representing Shah, told DailyMail.com, "Ms. Shah is a good woman who crossed the line. She accepts full responsibility for her actions and deeply apologizes to all who have been harmed. Ms. Shah is also sorry for disappointing her husband, children, family, friends, and supporters." Jen pled guilty because she wants to pay her debt to society and put this ordeal behind her and her family. Wow. Was it worth it, Jen Shah? I mean, what did she buy with all of that money? Clothes, jewelry, cars, Botox. Was it worth it? Shah shamelessly flaunted her wealth on the Bravo show, gifting her co-stars diamond necklaces and hosting lavish parties in their honor. She was never without a designer outfit or handbag and boasted about the size of her walk-in closets. Shah has been on the Salt Lake City franchise of the show since its premiere. Her storyline originally centered around her converting to Islam for her football coach husband and facing racism in the largely white Mormon community in Utah. Her extreme spending and extreme fighting with castmates quickly became focal points of the popular reality show, but they were quickly overshadowed by her legal woes. Shah was dramatically arrested during filming in March 2021, along with assistant Stuart Smith, on suspicion of the federal offenses. Her arrest was caught on camera by Bravo, with the star begging them to turn off the cameras after she suddenly abandoned filming, claiming there was an emergency with her husband, Sharif Shah. Sharif A special teams coordinator for the University of Utah's football team received a call from Homeland Security informing him that they were looking for his wife. Dramatic footage shows Shah leaving filming as the cast were about to leave on a trip to Colorado, with officers caught on camera asking for her whereabouts before she was arrested. And you guys, I'm not going to post any pictures of her children or her husband like they have online. It's not their fault that she's a thief. Smith pleaded guilty, her assistant, in November last year and had agreed to cooperate with federal prosecutors in their case against his old boss, a factor which likely contributed to her switching her plea on Monday. Shah is accused of defrauding hundreds of elderly people across the country in a widespread telemarketing scam. She was charged in March last year, along with her assistant Stuart Smith, who also pleaded guilty. The Bravo star initially pleaded not guilty to the charges of conspiring to commit wire fraud and conspiring to commit money laundering through telemarketing. The U.S. Attorney's Office say that Shah used third parties' names in an attempt to distance herself from the crimes. She used and directed others to use encrypted messaging applications to communicate with other participants and made numerous cash withdrawals structured to avoid currency transaction reporting requirements. During the reunion show in March this year, Shah sobbed as she declared that she was fighting the charges. She said, "I'm innocent. I will fight this for every person out there that can't fight for themselves because they don't have the resources or the means, so they don't fight. I will fight because number one, I'm innocent. And number two, I'm going to effing represent every other person out there that can't fight and hasn't been able to." U.S. Attorney Damian Williams said Jennifer Shah was a key participant in a nationwide scheme that targeted elderly, vulnerable victims. These victims were sold false promises of financial security, but instead Shah and her co-conspirators defrauded them out of their savings and left them with nothing to show for it. This office is committed to rooting out these schemes, whatever form they take. The NYPD previously alleged that Shah had hundreds of victims, with the alleged scam reportedly running for at least 9 years, starting in 2012. Prosecutors claim that Shah orchestrated the complicated scheme to generate lists of potential victims, with the majority aged over 55. She is accused of then selling those leads to telemarketing companies, which would in turn try to sell business services to the victims. Shah would then receive a share of the fraudulent revenue that the telemarketers generated, according to court documents. Wow, that is a very complicated scheme. Last month, she filed to prevent prosecutors from using clips from the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City at her fraud trial. I mean, why are you still on TV? And why did you go on TV if you knew that you were a criminal? Same thing with the other housewife whose husband, I think New Jersey. I don't watch the shows, but I saw it all in the news. I forgot their names. Teresa and Joe. Her husband was a criminal, and they were bragging just like Jen Shah of all of their wealth, and wham bam, thank you ma'am, got sent to prison, she got sent to prison, and he was deported back to Italy. Anyway, back to the story. The TV personality, 48, stated she does not want any clips from the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City used as evidence in court. Jen was a volatile presence in the first season of the show, with her blow-ups over pretty much everything causing friction with her co-stars and fans who watched the show. She joined the first season, which was filmed in 2019 and aired in 2020, and continued to be part of the show despite her arrest. Atlanta teacher Marie Walker, 67, told an ABC documentary that she had been duped by the scam when she attempted to start a health and beauty business during the pandemic. She claims she clicked an online ad to help her work from home before being inundated with calls from all kinds of companies, including Mastery Pro. Mastery Pro is one of the alleged shell companies set up by Shah, with Marie losing $18,000 to the scam, though she is not included in the charges against Shah. She said, "From Mastery Pro, I did purchase a social media package, but I would need to send in $1,000 from my bank for a social media boost package." Wow, Jen Shah. How horrible. You are a horrible person. In January 2021, I started having a lot of problems with the website. I was trying to reach the marketing, the coaching, the website builders, and I just couldn't reach anybody. There was no website, nothing. My head was really spinning there. I said, oh, this is just a scam. I contacted all my credit card companies, my banks, and I contacted the police departments, made reports, contacted the FTC. I put in a total about $18,000. I did get back some of my credit cards, about $8,000, but the rest is list. Well, I think that meant lost. If Jen Shah has been proven to scam people or defraud people, she needs to be punished. If I can talk to the people that scammed me, I would say, would you do this to your mother, to your sister? And why? Why would you do this? And why would you keep doing it? Acting Special Agent in Charge, Homeland Security Investigations, New York, Rick Patel, told the documentary that Shah's arrest on the day she was filming was a coincidence. He explained, in any of our operations, we don't look for specific timing to do our arrest. In the case of Jen Shah, she had a television crew that was following her on a regular basis, so it was not planned in any way. Our investigations and special agents need to do our jobs, and I'm happy to say they did it without incident, and she was taken into custody. According to court documents obtained by Page 6, her defense claims the footage do not have any of the indicia of reliability and highly edited and crafted through post-production. Shah even released not guilty merch ahead of the upcoming fraud trial before today's surprising U-turn. She promoted free Jen Shah t-shirts and had some tees featuring her face printed on them from the moment she was arrested by federal authorities. Shah is set to be sentenced for her crimes on November 28th. So you guys, what do you think about this criminal who was in plain view of millions of people every week on the TV show on Bravo? I mean, she's out there living it up, showing her wealth, and who would have guessed that she was stealing from elderly people for all of her material things? I mean, that is just sad. I mean, you're going to put yourself in the position to go to prison for 14 years for a few years of wealth. Some people, oh my gosh, like, I guess she thought that she would never get caught, because if you listen to how intricate it was, she probably thought, they're going to catch these people, they'll never bring it back to me. Well, people talk, and her ex-assistant was all too happy to spill his guts. So she did herself a favor by saying that she was guilty, by pleading guilty, because she was facing 30 years. It brought it down by little more than half. She may not get those 14 years because people with money, you guys know, usually get away with all sorts of crap. Look, I talked about Joe and Teresa from the New Jersey Housewives. Teresa spent a little over a year in prison, and I think her husband had a few years, but it was nothing compared to what plain Jane regular old people like us would have gotten. They would have thrown the book at, some regular person who wasn't rich. But anyway, you guys, that is my opinion. Let me know what you guys think about Jen Shah, the thief, in the comments, and I'll see you there. Bye.